episode 6 is this fine program, this fine initial season of Futurama, A Fishful of Dollars, named after a Sergio Leone film from 1964. A Fishful of Dollars is a highly memorable episode wherein Fry realizes that his bank account from the 20th century is still open and has been gathering interest for 1,000 years, and he is now a billionaire. His troubles ensue when he attempts to purchase the last known can of the extinct fish, the anchovies, a can of anchovies, which is apparently still edible. Mum of Mumcore wants them because she believes that these will be... She either wants to use them for herself or wants to shield them, someone else from using them as a source of... Was it robot fuel?
Yeah, cheap, efficient robot oil.
There you go. And so she tries to make Fry's life very difficult. At this point, I was reminded of... Do you recall in... it's like Simpsons season 4. It's, it is Last Exit to Springfield. There's a couple other cases of it where Mr. Burns is plotting against Homer, and Mr. Burns seems to think Homer's some brilliant genius or strategist, but it's just Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
And I was reminded of that. I wonder if they took cues from that for this episode.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but that's definitely one similar thing.
I think this is a brilliant script, one of the best Fry episodes in the history of Futurama, one which tackled his sense of, he having lost his home and everything he knew and wanting to kind of... And this is his attempt to kind of get it back without actually outright saying it to the camera or to anyone else by setting up an apartment full of 20th century things and, trying to recreate his old life. He's essentially saying that he wants to go back home without overtly didactically saying it, and I think it's quite poignant. And I think it's beautiful how how Leela and Bender express concern from him. We have the classic line where Fry states how he doesn't need people, he has things. Bender kind of melancholically replies, "I'm a thing." Yeah, I think it's one of the best scripts of the first season, and I believe you have some thoughts to share on this program.
Oh, probably a few too many thoughts.
Please go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. This was always like one of my favorite episodes as a kid. And even still to this day, I never thought about it being a great script or anything. But yeah, I suppose it is. Like,
if you read it, I think you would read very well.
Yeah, definitely. All the gags are great. Like you mentioned, his 20th century apartment with the asbestos, and he has fossilized KFC. He buys Ted Danson's skeleton because he has an idea for a sitcom. The Patric Farm ad. Where did that go? Like, I didn't understand it's an American ad, so I didn't know Patric Farm as a kid.
No, not at all.
And I didn't even understand the joke about the golf courses. But it's gold.
Dark.
Yeah, he's just sort of wallowing. At one point, he does mention that he wants to wallow, but that just seems like an intrinsic part of Fry's character.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how a show can do this so easily, subtly, and more impressively than this Rick and Morty pickle garbage?
Oh, I don't want to start on that.
Let's not go there.
Yeah,
if you don't want to.
That's diatribe of script writing. That's all I'm going to say. Whereas, this episode is just, it's got a premise that it believes in so much, even though it's something so simple and kind of stupid. And, even just something as silly as anchovies. I love how Zoidberg's race ate them all, and then he goes manic at the end because he wants more of them. And there aren't any more, but he doesn't realize that. One of the best endings to any episode. I don't know. I guess this episode introduces Mom, and I've never been the biggest fan of Mom's children. Those three characters.
Oh, the Three Stooges-esque.
The Stooges slapstick thing. They're not great, but I always loved in this episode when they do the Pamela Anderson.
Oh, that's classic.
Dream sequence.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the first season.
Yeah, it's so good. This episode is just full of great scenes like that, I guess, and they just believe in this episode so much.
Commercials in your dreams.
Yeah.
What a brilliant take.
Oh, yeah. Every gag has a great thing behind it. I guess it works on so many levels. Is there anything else? You have anything specific thing? I mean,
I think this may be the standout Fry episode of the first season, if not for the one afterward.
Or, the one afterward, or when aliens attack.
That's a great example,
that's
a highlight of this season.
We'll get to those two, obviously, in the next one sooner, but yeah, great. This season has these 3 great Fry episodes, that's true.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say is, Fishful of Dollars is one of my favourite episodes of the first season of Futurama. Very happy with it. Always been very...
Yeah, one of my favourites of all time. I mean, I do appreciate episodes like The Luck of the Fry-ish and, the Jurassic Park episode is Fry character episodes, but they've just been talked about so much and, like, overanalyzed in a...
I prefer Fishful to those two, frankly.
That's sort of where I'm going with this. Those two have a lot to say about them, but they do also pull you and manipulate you emotionally, which sometimes good.
Fry's more so.
Yeah, sometimes good art can do that, but there's
Gasoline I'll burn easier.
Honestly, I haven't watched that many dissections of the Fryish episode, but the thing that really always hits me about that episode isn't anything anyone's ever mentioned. It's sort of more of the substance behind it, but I'll get to that later.
Yeah. Just
the sort of substance and structure. The way it weaves and things like that. But I'm not an expert. If anyone's bothered to watch all these Futurama things, then they can let us know.
Yeah.
But this episode is just like such an earnest expression of what people seem to appreciate so much about those episodes. And like you mentioned earlier, it's not as didactic about it.
No.
So it's sort of similar to, I guess, the last episode we talked about in a way, The Love's Labour, where the 2 episodes ago, and where it's not really trying to do a didactic point. It's just like got this theme that's just under a great script with punchy jokes and character moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how I feel about that, and it's an all-time classic for me.
Yeah.
I'll probably say that a few more times, but this one definitely.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Absolute classic. Thanks again, everyone.